All right. It is finally a nice day out. Last time I was actually out in the garage was roughly early March or something, and it wasn't warm enough to paint. I've got the 1591 has been sitting and waiting on the shelf for it to be warm enough to do something about this cabinet. So here it is upside down. I wiped it off with mineral spirits, and now I've got some just generic oil-based enamel. It's gloss sunburst yellow from Rust-Oleum, and it's a yellow paint I had around. I think I can get it. It's a generic color, and I'm just going to paint the whole thing, the whole cabinet, probably the whole cabinet yellow. I may do something with the door fronts just to give it some pop, but it's only about getting a coating on here so there's a usable work surface, since the original finish was just disintegrating. And I sanded it and wiped it down before I left it, and when I wiped it just now with mineral spirits, it was covered in filth again. So the finish is continuing to disintegrate, and hopefully adding a coat of enamel or two will solve that. So I will get on this and we'll see it when it's finished. Alright, as you can see, this is the underside of the 1591 cabinet. It is now yellow, and it's time to reinstall the hardware underneath. And I had to fix this pin, but apparently when I did that, I managed to, it's too tall to fit under here anymore. So I'm going to have to just carve a hole for that under here, because this cabinet's not really salvageable in any meaningful way, so looks like I can just well, it's further in there, but still got to grind that hole bigger. Alright, that is, there we go. Oh, need to go back a little bit that way. Alright. That looks like it's gonna do. So we'll get that sawdust out of there and reinstall that. And then I have a new spring that may have to get cut, but we'll see what happens with that. And then we'll have to put the lift assist piece in. I did, because that 1591 has mercury electric on it now. I cut a groove here so that the wires can get slipped into this hole for cable management. So I am gonna find a way to get that sawdust out of there. Okay. Second thing, since we were in there, I realized the other side of this fix, that is also sticking up. So there's a new hole right here to give clearance for that pin, and now this whole bracket sits in place properly. Oh, that's right. Sorry, I forgot I had, there's the latch pin that goes through this hole, and I thought that needed to go in from this side, but it doesn't. It goes in from the top. So this we just have to get installed. And I'm gonna put all the screws in, I guess, without the camera in the way, because I have to reach in there. All right, we've got the bracket for the assist in. We got a spring here and this crown adjustment nut that goes in and through, and the spring goes in place, and then we got the washer and the nut for that. And what has to happen is we need to spring load this and then tighten that nut when we get the appropriate amount of load on the spring. And there's the crown marks in there so that you can get a screwdriver on one side locked in to where you want it, and then you can tighten it with a nut on the other side, or with a wrench on the other side. So again, I will move the camera and I will get that assembled. Okay, next up we got the missing spring for this support arm. Put that in place. There's a hook here. The spring was completely missing for it. So this is a screen door spring that I cut to length, and it is retracting nicely, and I put the hook in place here, and I think that will be just out of the way of the mechanism. If it's not out of the way quite to lift the machine out of the cabinet, I suppose I will just have to move this hook further to the side, or I can put some sort of bumper in here to keep the spring going. I am concerned about this popping off the hook though, so I'm just going to take and crimp a little bit so that that doesn't want to, of course it didn't crimp the way I want it to. We'll see if that's an issue. I think it should be fine. Oh. And I said that and I was wrong. Alright, well, I will come up with a plan for holding that in place. I may just put a dab of, I know what I'll do. I will get teeny bit of wire, and I'll just wire this in place. Or it's got this double ring here. I will trim one side of this off so it's only one hooking on there, and that way it should be able to fit in there, and then I will be able to crimp that on. Alright, that worked. I cut this end so it only has a single ring, and then it can crimp and it doesn't pop off anymore. So I think the underside of this is taken care of, so I am going to have to flip this. I will flip this up and we'll start assembling the top half.